good? You guys feeling good? Yeah, YouTube needs to work. Ali and Armin just finished their stream. Yeah, no, I was watching. They have a lot of great information on there. I really appreciate their work because it would be very difficult for me to understand a lot of the ins and outs of what's going on in Iran if I didn't have people like Armin, people like Ali helping us out in understanding the intricacies of what's going on over there. So it's very much appreciated. Oh, I appreciate them sending you guys over. We're going to be talking today about it's a related but kind of more distantly because these regimes were both operating as proxies for China. Iran thinks of itself, of an equal, but we all know that it was functioning basically as a proxy for China and Russia. Venezuela had pretty much the same situation in the Middle East. That's why the people that have problems with the regime in Iran, we're kind of all facing the same situation where, the people within Venezuela are suffering because of the impositions of China and Russia, as are the people of Iran, who, decided to back the worst people in Iran, the IRGC, and in Venezuela with the Chavistas, the Maduro regime. So, no, that's a new tank. That's a different tank. The tank you saw before, that's another one. This is. I just always park them there. I have a very particular way I like to have them in the motor pool. But I already fixed the other tank. This is a completely, absolutely new tank. So just so you understand that. But I appreciate your fleshy concern. Matters of the flesh are something that one needs to consider. Today we're going to watch a video I haven't seen, but it is a channel I want you guys to notice. It is a channel that I consider a resource, so I want us to go over it a little bit. I always want to give a little time for people to come in and check out the stream, right? So people can talk to me. So I'm looking at everyone around and making sure I understand what the people want, what the people see. Oh, it's the name of a base in Puerto Rico, Fort Buchanan. But the Borincaneers is a group of Puerto Rican soldiers that served our country greatly. Hello, Texas. Good to see you. I just want to welcome everybody. I want to take the first 10, 15 minutes to welcome everybody in, read your concerns, let me know. You can also give me ideas for future shows, future topics, maybe topics I can discuss today. I'm mainly concerned, well, not concerned. I'm mainly trying to cover and discuss American politics, American influence, especially when it comes to, the Americas, like all the way from Greenland down to, well, to the Antarctic, really, but all the way down. I did see that. Now, here is the American angle. Here's the American angle on this. Are these the Kurds we armed? Are they the ones that we said, hey, we're gonna keep the weapons? Oh, you're gonna keep the weapons? What if I bomb you? What if I use the weapons on the IRGC? Let's see how you perform. You understand what I'm saying? Because I knew we gave some weapons to some Kurds. Some people said it's a bad idea. And I think there might have been a message out there like, hey, if you're gonna keep them, you better fucking use them on these Basiji. And that might be what's going on there. Yeah, the separatists. Like, a lot of Kurds don't like in Iran don't like to conflate the separatists with the Kurds, but because some of these people have a very, how shall I say, twisted version of reality in which they would have to like fight, I don't know, five different nations at the same time, four different nations at the same time to create Kurdistan, right? Because Kurdistan would be inside four borders. That's like creating four Hezbollah or four Hamas, like each one in a corner of your land trying to invade, and like it's a terrible idea. You wouldn't want that. Yeah, separatist. Yeah, you're correct. All right, I'm getting some insight here from my mentor. When you highlight the chats, read them. Don't just highlight them because some people are not looking at their screen. This is important feedback from a great and honorable man who just did a wonderful show with Ali. Really enjoyed the show, and welcome to come visit anytime. Hey, maybe sometime. This is going to be very difficult because you're a very, 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 very busy man. But someday you can come visit, and you have someone else at the top of the morning, and you can come visit at night, maybe just for a couple of minutes, just to say hi. You would always be welcome and appreciated. But we understand, everyone in this chat knows that Armin is a very busy man, and I just thank him for being here in the chat with me. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let me see. Thank you, will do. Thank you. Never thought I see somebody supporting terrorists in the United States. What? Oh my God. You let me, I'm gonna have to show you something here. Because you're gonna be amazed. You're about to get ready to be amazed. Let me see if I can find this. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Armin who? You don't know Armin who? I'm about to school you, brother. Talking about Armin Navabi at Liberty Politics. Here's the link, okay? Anybody who doesn't know who Armin is, this is who you have to go follow. This is who has the latest news. Now, what I'm going to show you here is something that you may not be aware of. This may be amazing to you, okay? Because we had a chat over here. Where was it? I never thought I see somebody supporting terrorists in the United States. You would think that, right? Okay, I have something for you. All right, this is an idea we had a long time ago. All right. Hoping you guys can see this. If you guys remember this stuff, do you remember? This is not just Rambo. This is Rambo joins the Mujahideen. Okay? This is what we're talking about. See? See? Why do you think they didn't call it part four? Because they didn't want you to remember part 3. They just gave it like a whole new name. Yeah. He does look young in this, right? You know what? He has the show Tulsa. I think it's very good. I think he hasn't lost his sizzle, like he still has a little swagger, and he's playing kind of like a mafia don. And you know what? I think he pulls it off very well. Oh, you know what? I liked your stream last night. You have good information also. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But you know what? I see us as like a supercomputer. All right. So we all gonna get input in here and we're gonna filter it through. So you guys feel free to, school me on stuff I don't know about, put me on some knowledge, I do want to learn. I know I'm a flawed being. I'm flawed monkey, and I do appreciate information, knowledge, tips, and bananas in the chat. All right, now there's I wanted to start off. I want to start all this off with a little video. All right, I want to show a little video of some stuff that's been going on. This is a channel that I greatly admire. You see, we got some bananas in the chat. All right, this is called China Observer. I like that. That's an eggplant. And I'm talking about what I want, not what I got. All right. All right. This is yes, this channel right here is a channel that I greatly admire because of the consistency and the sourcing and a lot of the work they do. Like some of it, you're kind of like going off latest reports. Okay. Oh, I'll never get a banana like that. Texas says I'll throw bananas at you when you make me mad. That's oh my god, thank you. I'm getting bananas in the chat. Let me earn them. Let me earn them. Let me earn the bananas. Now I want to talk about some things that are going on. These people are very, very good at covering China, everything China. They go from the minutia to a larger scale to international to very much internal things. Wow. This person is very, very, how shall I say it? Identified as like this is not something I've seen before, right? Like I know that we say swing voters, like they're not picking a side. They're like, they don't have a team. But this person is saying, no, I am. There is a team, and I'm on team swing voters. So I hadn't seen this. No, I know. Okay, no, look. This is what I said about. This is what I've always said about swing voters. They hold a grudge, so you don't want to make them mad. All right. That's why you can't be like all in the swing voters' face about this problem you have with this party or that party because they'll just vote against you because you made them mad. Yes, the swingers. Well, I think swingers has a different connotation in America, especially if you're married. So I don't want to I don't want to like call it like that. But the swing segment, the swing conglomerate. No, that sounds too corporate. The swing. I don't know what to call it now. The swing voters. Yeah, that's what you call them. So you do have to be cognizant that they will they're not married to a party, they're not married to an opinion, they're married to their spouses, but they're not married to your political party or your ideology. The swing squad, you know what? I like that, Fleshy. I like you have the fleshiest ideas. Okay, now we're going to start the video. All right, we're already 15 minutes in. Time to start. Swing coalition. What are you doing to these koalas? Koala? No, I'm kidding. Well, that's sometimes. They might swing at any time. Elauk is saying things change. Sometimes we need to vote for the best person possible. I mean, yeah, sure. But you know what? Let's get into poor koalas. Oh my God, poor koalas. All right, let's get into the video. I want to show you what these people whose main focus is China have to say here. 30 million Venezuelans are angry. 30 million Venezuelans. That's a lot of people. 800 China tofu dreg buildings. Now, this is something they suffer a lot. Exposed. No cement, just EPS.
On the evening of June 24th, Venezuela's northwestern coastal region was hit by a rare double earthquake. Within 39 seconds, two main shocks struck in sequence, measuring magnitude 7.2 and 7.5. As of official figures released on June 29th, the death toll has risen to more than 1,450. Over 3,238 people have been injured. More concerning, as many as 68,000 people are still reported missing. Reports indicate that nearly 800 buildings across the country have collapsed, with
800 buildings collapsing, like completely collapsing, is something that's very, very worrying, right? Like you will see some buildings collapse. Sometimes it's older buildings, but when you see a lot of newer buildings collapsing, that tends to be a problem with construction, with materials, with standards, with regulations. Oh yeah, some 8, 10, 20, 12-story buildings, like tall buildings. Yes, I see Angelo was saying big buildings too. Correct. Okay, so this is the conspiracies theory. Like China can cause earthquakes, or the Jewish people can cause earthquakes, or the Americans can cause earthquakes, but they don't cause them where they need them. Like when you're in the middle of a war and you want to make everybody stop. No, no, no. You're gonna wait till you're in the completely other side of the earth and hit someone that you know. Yeah, okay. So if HARP can do that, why didn't they do that in Iran? Why aren't they doing that in Russia? Why aren't they doing that in China? Right? It's like you gotta go with like, look, this is our best weapon. Why aren't we gonna use it when we need it, where we need it? I think it's a deflection. I think it's a distraction. I don't believe HARP did this. I believe it's a big earthquake. I don't think America has any benefit in Venezuela getting an earthquake, especially because it stops their ability to get oil. Like if you need oil, if you need your refineries to work in Venezuela so you can offset anything lost in Iran, so you can get these things pumping and going. This is why you took over. You did took over so you can use this to pump out oil. So you're gonna hit it with an earthquake? That doesn't even make sense. Anyway, I don't mean to berate you. I just have a difference of opinion. You're still welcome to think whatever you want. Oh, it's a deep conspiracy. If it makes a very little sense, it's a conspiracy thing. It's serious. If it makes no sense, it's a deep conspiracy. Okay, got it. Let's go back to it.
many more severely damaged. A large number of structures suffered what is known as pancake collapse. Videos circulating online show severe destruction in the hardest hit coastal areas of La Guaira state. Coastal high-rise buildings were reduced to rubble, roads were heavily damaged.
You see, I want you to go back and see some of these, the way they collapse. Look at this one that's coming up.
Online shown severe destruction
Not
in
that
the
one.
hardest hit coastal areas of La Guaira state.
That's the
Coastal
whole
high-
building. And this isn't even a tall building. This is a 2-story building.
Rise buildings were reduced to rubble.
That's a high. That's a well, not. I wouldn't say high rise, but that's a much taller building.
Roads were heavily damaged, and
Oh no! Wait a minute. That's the same one. It just fell all on one
many
side.
structures collapsed like cardboard.
Oh, I see. It's not 2 stories. It's just that all the other stories are behind this. Okay, I see what's going on.
An analysis by Microsoft's AI for Good Lab estimated that about 1/3 of nearly 30,000 buildings in the city were damaged. As rescue efforts continue and
You see how that's pretty bad.
residents report slow official response, concerns over construction quality have added to public frustration. A video filmed by frontline rescue workers in Venezuela has spread widely on social media. In the footage, a man is seen breaking apart a collapsed building's wall by hand.
You see, before anybody else was showing this, I was showing you. All right, guys. Okay. Alog has a theory here. It was the aliens. They missed the tunnels they were trying to land, and that they were when they were trying to land, and the aftermath and the destruction. Okay, so it hit, and then it kind of skipped, like on a like it bounced, and that's one earthquake, two earthquakes. Okay, I got it. I got it. Oh, so it was actually a problem in the ocean bases of the aliens. Okay, okay. I think you're pulling the monkey's leg. Yeah, this is also an important thing to take into account, that you have mini quakes. These are known as after shocks. When you have an earthquake, there's a very strong danger of aftershocks. This is why sometimes people prefer to wait a couple of hours, have some seismologists take a closer look to see what they expect, because aftershocks are a thing that happens when you have earthquakes.
The outer layer appears to be a thin coating of concrete. Once removed, the interior is revealed to be filled with large blocks of expanded polystyrene foam, or
Okay, we do this in Puerto Rico, but we use cinder blocks and rebar, right? And some of the areas, like every so often, instead of blocks, it's just filled all the way in with concrete. What they're doing, instead of cinder blocks, they're using styrofoam, which is not as tough. And like every time you put a layer of cinder blocks, like you got to put cement in between it, so it's a very tough structure. Yes, I think Florida shares some of those construction types, especially I think around basements and some buildings. Insomniac says the problem is they build these shitty buildings in their own country, China. So many buildings and bridges have collapsed. Yes, it's also a problem with their Belt and Road Initiative. That's why many people that took loans from them aren't paying back. They're not giving the resources in exchange for the services, because the services sucked.
EPS.
Es anime, weón, es anime, las columnas.
Looking at this thing,
What he's saying, anime is what they call, it's not an anime, like it's not a Dragon Ball is here. He's talking about anime is what they call that polystyrofoam. He's saying the columns are made of anime. The columns are made of styrofoam. The column is supposed to be your point of strength.
this is foam plastic, man. These columns are full of damn foam plastic. Damn the government. They put a bit of cement on the outside, but the inside is packed with foam. That's why it all came down with this thing. They say it was caused by an earthquake, but that's a complete lie. Touch it. It's all foam in the middle. No one is stupid. Now, I understand why this whole thing collapsed. They did this for the money. Man, this is not a small issue.
Okay, he is very correct. Like these communist regimes are a lot about show. Yeah, no, big government did this thing fast. Did they do it well? No. Are the people going to get anything good out of it? No. Did they mostly pocket the money that they said this cost? Yes. Oh yeah, it's climate change, says Amy Ryan. The foam melted. Yes, yes.
Nearby rescue workers also appeared shocked by the poor construction quality. Some online comments question whether the structure was built as part of a CITIC construction project and whether this could help explain why nearly 800 buildings collapsed after the earthquake. Other comments.
You see how these buildings are tall? Like in a tall building, like you may get away with that in a one-story building, and you're still in danger. This is what we're hearing here from Sarayu. Florida made their building codes much more stringent a few years back after there was a building collapse for anything over 3 floors, right? So what we see here is that buildings that are up to 10 floors have this problem.
Described the situation as not only a natural disaster but also the result of human factors, pointing to construction practices linked to Chinese state-affiliated contractors. Among the worst affected were high-rise housing complexes under Venezuela's state housing.
Did you see how that fell?
pointing to construction practices linked to Chinese state-affiliated contractors. Among the worst affected were high-rise housing complexes under Venezuela.
Yeah, stucco is maybe it's what we call the mocheta, where it's like a mix of concrete and, oh my god, I don't know how to say cal. It's pretty much just to put a layer on it. You don't we use kind of like something that would look like stucco on the cinder blocks. That's how we make the cinder blocks look nice. But if they you could put stucco on styrofoam if this is not a structural column, if it's not a structural wall, right? Yeah, sort of like plaster, but made with concrete, and I forget how to. I don't know how to say it. I think it's lye, is what you would call the other material. Cal is, I think, it's kind of like lye, and lye L as in Lima, Y as in Yankee, E as in Echo, lye. But you mix these up with water, and you get kind of like a dense, smooth surface, and they put in cinder blocks, and then they stick that to the cinder block to make it lime. Yeah, they stick that to the cinder block to then paint over it, right? I guess you could do that when in style with styrofoam, or I guess another equivalent would be gypsum board. But to use gypsum board as a structural column is ridiculous. Same for stucco on styrofoam for something that's structural. You can't do that.
State housing program, the Great Housing Mission. Public records show that several of these projects were built by Chinese companies, including
We're going to go over the companies because people are talking about it, but they're not going over the company. And this is why I love China Observer. I'm actually on my other account. I'm a subscriber of them, and I very much support liberty politics, of course. But you know what? If you're the kind of person got the money to go around and you already subscribe to Ali and to Armin and to all that stuff, hey, these guys, they do good work. You wanna spread the wealth around. These people are doing a maximum of good, and we want the people that do the maximum of good to get their flowers. So I want to give them their flowers.
CITIC Construction and China CAMC Engineering, which served as major contractors. In the heavily affected La Guaira state, the urbanismo.
You see that? These are 3-story buildings, and they're using that.
Hugo Chavez social housing project in Katia Lamar, built by CITIC Construction, suffered major damage and large-scale collapse during the earthquake. According to the AFP, 100.
I want to go back a little bit because I saw a building there. You see this? See this right here? Let me make this bigger. You see this? These are buildings that are basically collapsed. Like they're being held by each other, right? Not by anything structurally sound at the bottom here.
Collapsed during the earthquake. According to the AFP, 192 buildings in the complex were severely damaged by the strong shaking. Survivors and reporters on site said that movement along a strike.
You see, this was 3 stories, but the bottom story collapsed. And I want you to see. I'm sorry, I left. What the actual crap? Yes, I'm sorry, I left one of these chats up, and you guys couldn't see the bottom of the screen. My apologies. I'm learning. Okay. Survivors and reporters on site said that moving the strike. Okay, I want you to see the problem at the base. Do you see the styrofoam? You see that?
Slip fault caused several apartment blocks at the back of the complex to fully collapse and become level with the ground. Other buildings developed serious structural cracks and are now at.
I want you guys to see this. And these are the people that lived in there. Like they got their basic things here. They get this lady's like hanging onto her TV. I imagine that these people are selling the stuff that they have left so they could get food because I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty rough in here.
Risk of further collapse. All 3,400 apartments in the community have been evacuated, and many residents are now sheltering outdoors using mattresses placed on the streets. In addition,
like they're all staying together, the community is staying together, but they're basically just pulling out their mattresses and sleeping next to their destroyed building. So this is pretty horrible, sleeping with your kids out and pretending you're camping because you kind of have to. There's no choice. Saying Elog is saying in Timu buildings. Yes, these were Timu buildings.
Infrastructure in the port sea of La Guaira state was also heavily damaged and has largely stopped operating. The modernization and expansion of the port in 2011 were mainly led by China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, and CITIC Construction.
So you see, again, it's these companies, China Harbour Engineering Company, CHC, and CITIC Construction. Now we know who the perpetrators are.
On April 28, 2017, the upgraded deep water container terminal was officially opened by then Venezuelan director Nicolas Maduro. Records show that in November 2005, CITIC Construction signed a general contracting agreement with Venezuela's Ministry of Housing for nationwide housing development. The project included 20,000 residential units, along with supporting public facilities covering a total construction area of about 1.7 million square meters. The Tiuna
These are the buildings that fell.
social housing project within this program was developed under a financing and EPC turnkey model. It included 116 buildings and 13,034 housing units with
I think someone here is saying something very important. Can you imagine if they had successfully taken over the Panama Canal? This was a problem that we were looking at. This is when we started doing it. We're gonna start looking at. This is when the Donroe Doctrine came to be called the Donroe Doctrine. One of the first things that the Don went after was no, we can't be giving the Panama Canal over to anyone else. And now we're seeing that these straits, these places where commerce passes through that are very important, we're starting to have a strong stance in either protecting directly or ensuring it's international water, that these international waterways are treated fairly, right? That you can't put your thumb on the scale like Iran wants to do by collecting a toll.
supporting infrastructure, and it was the largest housing project carried out by Chinese companies in Venezuela at the time. During the recent earthquake, many buildings in this project also showed widespread cracking and some partial collapses. These large-scale projects.
I want to go back to that one. Do you see that? These are buildings that you're looking at it from the top. It looks like it's at an angle, but that's from the top. It's because the whole building fell down. That's why you see so many floors. You're not supposed to be seeing any floors, right? Because you're supposed to be seeing the building from the top. You see here, this is a house, a structure, or something like that, right? You see here where you can see that. Here, this circle, like you can see that you're completely vertical from the ground. You see here, you're completely up from above, like you're completely looking at it from above down. The reason you can see the floors is because the whole building fell down.
Also showed widespread cracking and some partial collapses. These large-scale projects were once described as major examples of China's overseas construction and international cooperation. They are now also being referenced in broader discussions about construction performance in overseas infrastructure projects.
This is why so many places don't want to pay for China's Belt and Road Initiative. Like they're one of the reasons that the Chinese economy looked like it was going up, it's gonna overtake the American economy, blah 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 blah, was the Belt and Road Initiative. They're saying, oh my God, China's gonna take over Africa. Yeah, give it 5 years till everything they built sucks. No one's gonna pay them back, and all those long-term infrastructure deals that they had, they're gonna default. They're gonna say, we tried China, fuck that. We'd rather give our resources to America. Or Europe, I don't know, some places in Europe, because they got their problems. But you understand what I'm saying? This relates. Well, it relates to the Americas, but it also directly ties to U.S. and U.S. infrastructure, because all these places, while the Belt and Road Initiative failed, we can go and say, hey, we have a proven track record of results. Look here into our portfolio. This building that we built, still standing 10 years later. This building that we built, still standing 20 years later. This is a long-term corporation, these long-term construction deals, and we build good stuff. Like USA is going to be able to come in and say that. Won't be cheap, but it'll last. You get cheap stuff, it'll last nothing, and then you just gave away your money.
It is also noted that in these projects, Chinese companies provided not only financing, but also prefabricated construction technology, precast concrete components, still formwork systems, and
Here's the problem. Those pre-made concrete walls, there's a lot of styrofoam in that. That's a complaint I've been seeing of Chinese work for many years. That when they take in materials for a load in China, for construction in China, they look at this rebar. You could break it with your fingers.
a full set of building materials. Cement and steel reinforcement were also shipped from China. In addition to projects directly built by Chinese contractors, many buildings constructed by local Venezuelan teams also used imported materials and technical systems supplied under bilateral agreements. While the collapse of older buildings due to age or outdated seismic standards may be expected, the failure of many modern high-rise developments built in the past decade has raised serious concern among engineers and the public. Experts point to three main contributing factors behind the widespread structural failures. First, poor construction materials and cost cutting. Photos from
Okay.
the disaster site show that many collapsed columns had insufficient steel reinforcement. The spacing and
Okay, we have an important comment here. Why can't I? Oh, why can't I show this comment? What's going on here? Oh, here we go. Yeah, USA will help, but we got to make China pay for it. Something for all the oil money to go towards. No, we're just going to take the oil. Look, here's the thing. Even taking the oil and pay, at a fair price, it's incredibly profitable. Like if we have our companies treating the oil fairly, it's going to be incredibly profitable for Venezuelans. But it's also going to be incredibly profitable for us because those companies are going to pay taxes to America. Like we can treat them completely fairly and let China. What China is going to pay is that they're going to have a default on their debt. They did all this because they thought they were going to get the Venezuelan oil, which they never got. We got it, right? So they lost all they did on construction. The only people like we're not losing. We're not even losing half a Leering Center's worth of money, half a Minnesota fraud budget in helping these people. So helping these people is not a loss to us. It's a benefit. We gain more in PR. We gain more in friendship. We gain more in love from the Venezuelan people in the diaspora and locally. And we do more in dispelling the lies of the protection of the regime and the evils of America just by being ourselves than you could ever buy with money. We got to spend a little, sure. But showing love is worth more than money. Can't buy me love, baby. That's a great song.
thickness of rebar did not meet standards, and concrete strength was also below requirements. These weaknesses made the structures highly vulnerable to strong seismic
Love is powerful. Soft power, but it is a power. Kinetic power is not as loving.
shaking. Second, weak geological assessment and soil conditions. Many of the worst affected areas along the La Guaira
Oh my God, did you see that one? Wait.
and soil conditions. Many of the worst affected areas
Look at that. You see how it's supposed to look when it's vertical, right? You see it from the side. Look at this. The whole building went down. That's the whole building. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they get fair price for their oil. They get to rebuild it. We get more presence. I'm gonna show you later how much we're getting deeper in there, right? How much we're getting more oversight because of this. How much they're showing their hand, showing the corruption. What we're doing is just letting time pass and giving the best of ourselves, we are exposing them. Why? Because they were exposing themselves.
Along the La Guaira coast were built on soft sediment or reclaimed land.
Soft sediment. Can you imagine not doing a structural assessment, a geological survey anywhere in USA and building a 10-story building on soft sand? This has caused so much death. We're going to get into some other stuff later, like orphans being kidnapped, like literal videos where you can see the hospital staff running, jumping in front of the. Oh my God! I went to the start. I think we were around here. The hospital staff jumping, trying to run behind the kidnapper jumping in one of these Jeep Wranglers and stealing the little girl and taking her God knows where. Doctors trying to stop a car with their body, and the dude's just. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys later.
Guaira coast were built on soft sediment or reclaimed land. These soil conditions can significantly amplify earthquake waves. The Venezuelan Engineers Association, CIV, has repeatedly warned that building dense housing on such ground without proper geological survey creates serious risks. However, these warnings were not fully followed due to development pressures. Third, structural design weaknesses in soft-story buildings. Many buildings used open ground floors for shops or parking with.
Here's where the bad engineering comes in, okay? When you have bad engineering, that means you're not building into the structural strength, right? Like if you have a very open center in a building, you got to have strong sides or like an open top too. I mean, it's a terrible thing. Bad engineering kills.
Limited shear wall support. In strong.
You see, remember I told you before she said it, I said you have to have the sides be stronger. Like wall support has to be strong if you have open centers, right?
Earthquakes, these lower floors tend to fail first, causing the upper section to collapse in a vertical chain reaction. The Great Housing Mission program, launched in 1999 under former Venezuelan dictator Hugo Chavez, was designed to use oil revenue to provide affordable housing for disaster-affected and low to middle income families.
And that oil went to China. What happened with Iran? Iran, I'm going to tell you something. I want to see if there's been some recent earthquake. What was the most recent earthquake, even if it was years ago, in Iran? And I want to see if there's been some hiding, what there is about any infrastructure damage. Because I bet whatever was the worst case, it was a Chinese-built building. Chicom-built building.
To meet large construction targets quickly, the Venezuelan government relied on both domestic builders and international contractors through bilateral agreements. Companies from Russia, Turkey, Iran, and China were involved, the Chinese contractors playing a major role in many of these projects.
I want to go back a little bit. Who are the agreements with? Let's go again.
Agreements. Companies from Russia, Turkey,
Russia, Turkey, Iran, and China.
And China.
You see that? Who built this garbage? Russia, Turkey, Iran, and China. Only one of those is in NATO, but I don't trust any of them. All right? I know Turkey's in NATO. They also like to play footsie with Russia. I don't like it. Okay? Oh, it looks like Joliet is telling us that there was a score for USA in soccer. So, a little highlight, a little spot in the light in the dark here. But I'm telling you, when you have these top-down governments that do everything fast, very corrupt, keep skimming, and at the end, how much the money you actually have for materials, well, buy fake ones because we can't afford the real deal. That's what goes on.
Were involved, the Chinese contractors playing a major role in many of these projects. In heavily affected areas such as La Guaira Estate, several flagship public housing projects have a strong background of international cooperation. For example, the Ciudad Hugo Chavez Frias and the Luisa Casadres de Arizmendi residential complex are large-scale, high-density housing developments completed between 2011 and 2015. But under pressure to meet rapid deadlines and political targets, construction quality was significantly reduced. First, to cut cost and speed up delivery, some projects rely heavily on lightweight materials and fast assembly methods. This also explains why many building materials
Oh my God, I've been ranting to myself. What's the last thing you heard? I was going to point out here that there's a lot of people here that I wanted. Wait, what was this comment? It's interesting that China and IRGC work with each other. These Chinese are destroying all their mosques. Okay, they're doing a lot more than destroy the mosques. What they are doing, what they absolutely doing, is they're taking these Uyghur Muslims and organs harvesting them. It's not just a mosque. They're harvesting their organs and they're using them as slave labor. So thank you for the bananas. I appreciate the flowers, but this is a real thing, right? So people say, "Oh, I care so much about the Muslims in Gaza. Oh my God, the Jews are killing the Muslims in Gaza." But you don't care about the Muslims in China, the ones that are under slave labor, the ones that are being organ harvested. You don't care about that. Oh, because those are commies and you love commies. So you're going to shut up about that because you don't give a damn about that, right? They're hypocrites. These leftists are hypocrites. They, oh my God, let me have this. Let me hide my blue hair under this kafia, right? But they don't really give a damn about Muslims. So they would cry about the Muslims in China where they're being organ harvested, right? I know that I don't hate Muslims. I hate Islam because it's an expansionist supremacist ideology. Okay, that's the problem. It's Islam. It's not the people. Like I don't hate Chinese. I hate the communists in China, the Chi-Coms. I don't hate the Russians. I hate Putin's criminal cartel state. All right, you don't hate Russians, of course not. I don't hate Iranians. I hate the IRGC. You understand? So you got to make a distinction here. But you got to see the hypocrisy. They care about the Muslims, but not the ones in China that are getting organ harvested, that are getting turned into slave labor camps. They care about the gays, but not the gays in Palestine. They're getting thrown off buildings. They care about women, but not the women in Iran. All right. So there's so much hypocrisy in the left that I just don't have time for them. So I want to thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, it's true. Thank you, Amberlyn Rose. We're going to go back to the video.
Were shipped directly from China. While prefabricated construction is a mature method, using it without proper seismic design or soil improvement, especially on soft coastal sand, creates serious structural risks. Second, there was a lack of independent third-party supervision. The Venezuelan and
You see what I mean? They get approved from the top down by the regime. There's no third parties to look into this. A third party to vet it. A third party that you can't pay off. That makes their money off their reputation about calling out anybody.
Engineers Association, CIV, has noted that many politically driven projects bypass standard municipal planning and formal structural review processes. In addition, projects involving Chinese contractors were often linked to informal arrangements, and structural design data was not publicly available, which weakened.
You see, in America, you have to be looking at the geological survey. You can't just do this kind of public project or private project that's large and it's going to have public traffic. You can't do this shit. In America, if you can't show a transparency of the papers, the government just won't allow it and the people won't allow it, right? We still have some places where we're the corporate government and the people have friction, but that friction is allowed, right? If you do that in Venezuela, they send you to jail, right? So that's why they don't have any third party vetting, because their third party is in jail.
Oversight. FADA was
Wanna
not
go back a little bit?
linked to informal arrangements, and structural design data was not publicly available, which weakened oversight. Finally, long-term maintenance was largely neglected. Venezuela's prolonged economic crisis and hyperinflation have severely limited public funding. After delivery, many housing complexes lacked basic maintenance and structural reinforcement. Weather exposure and coastal salt corrosion further weakened already fragile buildings over time. The Great Housing Mission is only one part of broader economic cooperation between China and Venezuela over the past 2 decades. Since 2005, Venezuela became China's largest recipient of investment and loans.
Venezuela became China's largest recipient of investments and loans. That's why Chavez was such a poster child for the left. See this?
In Latin America. According to the Atlantic Council, China provided more than $67 billion in financing over more than a decade.
Let's look at this. 67 billion since 2007. The main source of Venezuela's external financing. An important partner for its oil-based economy. Yeah, I'm sure they're working that fence too.
This was mainly structured through a loans for oil model where China extended long-term loans and Venezuela repaid them with crude oil exports. Under this arrangement, Chinese companies became heavily involved in major infrastructure projects across Venezuela. Beyond tens of thousands of housing units, these projects also included rail and transport networks. The most prominent is the Tinaco to Anaco Railway project, stretching nearly 470 kilometers. It was intended to connect central agricultural regions with eastern oil-producing areas. It was also the first major high-speed rail contract awarded to Chinese companies in South America. Energy and power infrastructure.
So what we're looking here is, this is part of what they call the Belt and Road Initiative. Oh, wait, hold on. Belt and Road Initiative. Let me put this in a different window. God, 1 second. There.
This included upgrades in oil drilling platforms, refinery modernization, and investment in multiple thermal and hydroelectric power stations aimed at addressing Venezuela's chronic electricity shortages. Agriculture and communications. These projects included large irrigation systems as well as nationwide.
I'd be very skeptical of Chinese government food or food produced by the Chinese government.
Broadband networks and satellite programs built by major Chinese telecommunications companies. But as Venezuela's economic management deteriorated and hyperinflation worsened, its ability to repay debt collapsed, and many of these large projects were left unfinished.
All right, as soon as they couldn't get the oil out and they couldn't get the money, they stopped building.
The Tinaco to Anaco railway site is now overgrown with
This reminds me of California.
vegetation, with rusting equipment and abandoned facilities marking the stalled construction. The power system has also
Jesus Christ! Look at the power grid. Are you looking at this? What the hell is this? One second. Wait a minute. I have to look in a different window to grab this. All right. I'm looking at some information. I'm getting 1990 Manjil-Rubar earthquake. I don't know. 1990 is like 36 years. So I don't know. This seems like it was pretty bad. 7.4. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I don't know how much China was doing Belt and Road at this time. I have some doubts that China had a lot to do with infrastructure here, but I do recognize that this is a pretty bad earthquake. I heard that there was some recent earthquakes too. All right, I'm gonna get back to the video. But these cables, oh my God, this looks terrible.
Suffered repeated nationwide blackouts due to lack of maintenance funding and spare parts, further weakening industrial capacity.
You see this? Is this power lines? Can you imagine having these power lines just passing by here?
The construction problem revealed by the earthquake reflected broader infrastructure fragility linked to long-term political and economic mismanagement in Venezuela. For China-linked projects, this also highlights key risk in large overseas infrastructure development. Under the Belt and Road framework, some projects have faced criticism over construction quality. Without a stable economic environment, proper geological assessment, and independent oversight system, large state-driven projects face higher risk of delays.
Let's look at the formula they let out here. And why you can't have these in a command economy.
Without a stable economic environment.
Stable economic environment. Command economies are never a stable economic environment, which makes infrastructure difficult.
Proper geological assessment.
Of course, you need geological assessment. I mean, you can't just force it in there because it's convenient from a, what do you call, I don't know, a publicity standpoint. Oh, this was a pretty place. Let's build it here. No. That's not what your motivation should be. All right. You need a geological assessment. You just can't build by the beach because it's pretty by the beach. What if you can't build on that sand?
And independent oversight system.
Independent oversight. That's antithetical to a command economy. They are the oversight. There is no other oversight.
Large state-driven projects face higher risk of delays, structural failure, or long-term.
So you have higher risk of delay, structural failures, and long-term abandonment.
This earthquake has left large areas of housing.
I want to go back a little bit and look at this.
Or long-term abandonment.
There's a frame here. Look at this. These are flattened buildings. These buildings probably used to be as large as these. Maybe a little shorter, but very large buildings. Look at that. It's just flattened.
The earthquake has left large areas of housing in ruins and displaced at least 13,000 people. Direct economic losses are estimated at $6.7 billion. The wider economic impact is expected to reach 1.5 to 3 times that figure. Jorge Rodriguez, president of the National Assembly, called it Venezuela's most severe disaster in 123 years.
I don't know what happened 123 years ago, but I don't think it was this bad. What could it have been? I don't even want to know.
The disaster.
It's such a specific date that I think it's going to be something stupid.
Has increased the need for large-scale reconstruction.
Look, this is the truth in China. I mean, it's the truth everywhere, but it's the truth in China. The reason why I'm going with China Observer is because they break down. And you know what? I want to put this in the chat again because I want these people to get as much support as they can. Like have been a great resource to me for many years. I believe they will be a great resource to you, right? This isn't just about me or Armin or Ollie or Guy or Goldie. It's about us being able to be well informed and have good resources when we speak to anybody. Maybe you don't start a channel, but wherever you go, you want to be well informed and you want to give good, solid fact-based information to anyone you're talking about. I believe these people have a solid experience and knowledge base, and I want to support them. I really do. All right, and you're gonna see more of this, like this skimming at every level stuff. You're gonna see if you watch their programming, they show you exactly how every level does it. It's more in relation to China, but they do show you.
Placing further pressure on Venezuela's already weak finances. The country is now attempting what could become one of the largest sovereign debt restructuring in modern history. Venezuela's total debt is estimated at around $240 billion. In this process, China, as one of its largest bilateral creditors.
Okay, now 240 billion. I want to. Alok says, I love that you guys share information and encourage people to watch others. Yeah, you have to do that. You have to do that. I mean, this is the greatest good for all. Is not for me to claim that I found all this out by myself and try to like make some kind of like AI a snippet of this. Is for give you guys good sources, because that way I'm not going to be able to watch every one of their shows, but maybe one of you guys will catch something they said that I wasn't able to catch, and you'll tell me about it or someone else in a context that really expands a point and it informs it. That's why we got to help each other, because it's the greatest good for the most amount of people. And let me go back a little bit here.
Faces significant in this process, China, as one of its largest bilateral creditors, faces significant exposure to financial.
So they loaned out $240 billion, and then Trump snatched Maduro. That means they're not getting their $240 billion back. They're not going to get it. That means China is doing real bad in their banking sector, like really bad.
Losses. According to Financial Times and international financial institutions, Venezuela still owes between $10 to $20 billion under earlier loan for oil agreements. With oil production sharply reduced, debt repayment has largely stopped. In this financial situation, institutions warn that creditors should expect large debt haircuts, meaning partial cancellation of principal in exchange for restructuring the remaining debt.
You know what this means? You know what they said? Restructure. That's basically when you do bankruptcy. When you do a restructuring of the debt, that's called bankruptcy. Like they might declare bankruptcy. They might declare it to be a previous regime. This is why I would kind of prefer that the regime was just ousted, because if you say, hey, you made a loan people to a regime that doesn't exist, is different than waiting for a new government to come in through election. Because if it's a new government through election, it's difficult to get rid of that debt and not make yourself lose credit in the international. Not that they had great credit in the international state, in the international space. They were mostly getting their credit from China. I don't think anybody else was lending them money. But you have to structure these things so that business is comfortable working with you. And if you just eliminate or nationalize or just eliminate the debt that they have with China, there are people that would have a problem with that. I don't know how much, because it is China after all. But, because China makes so much stuff for so many people, some people start siding with them. And by people, I mean nations. Yeah, I understand that sentiment. Why pay it all? So that's why I'm saying, look, if you would have had just a straight up regime change, you don't have to pay. You're like, hey, that was another regime. But if you have elections, then it's kind of the same regime. You have to restructure the debt. And I think that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a restructuring. China's going to get, but they might not even get oil. They might get money because maybe they were getting that oil at a discount. and it's better to give them money and make them buy the oil at a higher price because they can't get it cheap from Iran. They can't get it cheap from Venezuela. If you make them pay market price, it's going to hurt their economy really bad.
Citigroup estimates at least a 50% haircut. Some analysts
50% haircut. You're not talking about hair. When they say 50% haircut, they're talking about I owe you 10, I'm paying you 5.
project reductions of 70 to 80% due to Venezuela's fiscal
That's basically shaving. That's not even a haircut. You're getting a shave.
collapse and weak financial
You're getting the trimmers.
transparency. Policy and economic observers note that even under a conservative 50%
Okay, I like this. I like what your head is at. Pay them in real. Oh my God. This is, you know what? You know what? You're a real one. You're a real one, Flashy. That's hilarious. Pay them in real. Here you go, China. Oh, you bring me an oil tanker. No. It's just full of real. That's about $1 million in real. Just a tanker full of real.
haircut, Chinese-linked investment institutions could face direct losses of $5 to $10 billion in this restructuring. In a worst scenario, losses.
You see what I said? $5 to $10 billion in reduction, and these loans were 10 to 20. That's what I said. 50% haircut. You're losing half your fucking money.
Could rise to between $7 and $16 billion. Overall, China's Belt and Road Initiative has produced mixed results with both financial risk and project failures in several partner countries. In this case, the earthquake has further exposed long-term weaknesses, including unfinished infrastructure and heavy debt burdens that continue to affect both sides.
I want to thank these people. I want to drop their link in the chat again. These people are wonderful people. Like I said, on my main account, I'm one of their subscribers. I want you to support people that give us good information, not just because they're in liberty politics or associated with Armin or associated with Goldie and Tusi. Like, we know these are great people and great leaders among the Iranian diaspora, but also people outside of our immediate circle that do good work. We want to give them their flowers. And you know what? You guys go over there and you give them their flowers. You tell them, especially if you got any family, any people that are in Latin America or in Venezuela, you give them a thanks for this, and you know what? You tell them this is important news, and they do good work. All right. Now we're gonna move on to some other things. All right. And you know what? Texas Trope is ordering some Panda Express in honor of these wonderful people. I hope you delect in their cuisine and, you know, you enjoy their report. All right. That might have been a little too serious, but you know what? I'm sometimes tone deaf. All right. I want to show you guys some things also to do with the situation in Venezuela. Right. This is going to be some sad stuff. So, you know, your heart may, what the hell is this? Why is this asking me? Why is this thing asking me to scan my code? I don't even understand this. Let me try something else. I apologize for making you wait, guys. I'm just looking for some information here. But the place where I had it is trying to make me do a verification. Why do I need this? Why do I need to make a code? You already have my phone number, bastards. My God. How do I switch accounts? Wait. Profile. Hang on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, we might need to change plans. All right. May have to do something a little different. Because here we go. Add an account. All right, guys. I want you to please bear with me. All right. Please bear with me. I'm trying to get you guys some information here, but because these are new accounts, it kind of has a lot of restrictions and keeps making you log in and prove who you are and all that bullshit. So it's making me log in through the app on a phone to even see my new Twitter account that I made for my monkey self. Okay. Okay. Mm, border pool, not border pool. I apologize that I have to do this. Okay, I have to confirm human with a face ID. So I guess Grok knows what I look like now. They'll be charmed, I'm sure. How do I? Okay, so how do I verify with? How do I verify with X? I had all this lined up. I feel really stupid. Feel like a moron, but I think I got it working. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. Now we're gonna go into some bookmarks that I have here because I want to show you the an important part of what's going on here. Okay. And here we go. All right. And you guys can see that. I'm gonna see if I can make the aspect ratio a little better. This is my little motor pool. My greasy motor pool Twitter if you guys want to follow it. I'm not really posting a lot. I just have bookmarks and likes. But if you guys want to get a message to me or you want to, tweet something at me, I'll check it out and I maybe have it on the show. I have a section where I see what you guys tweet at me. But Twitter's kind of crazy, so I'm gonna have to look at it off screen first. So I want to show you something here. We're gonna read what it says first. It says more video proof coming out. Stacks of $100 bills everywhere. Watch as civilians, as first responders, and other pull wads. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. You guys see that?
Señores, para militarizar automáticamente la Guaira, señores, porque
Do you see that? That's a trash can full of brand new bills. More video proof is coming out. Stacks of $100 bills everywhere. Watch as civilians and first responders and others pull. This is the guy that was trying to stop the rescue workers from clearing out civilians under rubble. Civilians that are alive under rubble. He's stopping the Americans from pulling these people out from a deadly situation because he's worried they'll find his stacks of money. This is Diosdado, I think it's Diosdado Cabello. I don't remember right his name full, but I'm pretty sure his name is Diosdado. And this is the problem that they're having, right? What's full of American $100 bills from under collapsed building. Cash is turning up in huge amounts across the rubble. People are asking, is this why the colectivo leader Caballero, Diosdado Caballero, I thought it was Cabello, but it's Caballero, was reportedly demanding U.S. teams go in different direction because he was hiding his fucking corruption. All right, let's listen to what this guy has to say.
de Diosdado Cabello, miren aquí por qué razón mandó a militarizar automáticamente la Guaira.
He wanted to militarize the La Guaira. La Guaira is a section that was greatly affected by the earthquakes, because this is a section that they built, and because they built it, this is where all the money that they schemed is. And he ordered its militarization because his corruption is here.
Mira, señores, porque estos videos de estas caletas, que incluso se está pudriendo hasta dinero de tanto tiempo que tiene.
There's money rotting, literally rotting in the humidity. Literally rotting in the humidity. Oh, thank you for the bananas. I appreciate that, Texas. Very kind. Money is literally rotting in the spaces where they found it because they have been hiding this money for so long.
Dinero guardado y no sabe ni cómo sacarlo. Dólares.
They don't have a way to monetize this. They don't have a way to turn this money. They can't buy anything with it. I already own everything there. They can't buy for that kind of cash. You'd have to like bring these big bags of cash. Where are you going to take them? So they don't know how to move this money. So they just stack it, and some of it was rotting.
Señores, empezaron ya a verse estas caletas que ustedes están viendo ahí, de repletas de dólares.
Caletas apparently means storage. This is not Spanish. Has many dialects, and I understand that he's speaking Spanish, but I don't know what this word means. Caleta. I'll look it up later, but it apparently means like place stuffed with money.
Dólares.
Rotting. This stuff is rotting. This didn't start rotting with the earthquake. This is not something that got wet recently.
Millones de dólares, señores, y el pueblo muriendo de hambre, y
you got to understand, these people had incredible amounts of literal hunger. One of the reasons that people left Venezuela was literal hunger. Not everybody was part of the Tren de Aragua. The Tren de Aragua was horrible people. We know that. Just like the Mara Salvatrucha is a very cruel gang that doesn't represent all Salvadorians. Bukele proved that. Like, you can see now that you have a little bit of law and order that most El Salvadorans are good people. Right. Same thing with Venezuela. A lot of good people had to leave when these colectivos from Diosdado Caballero and fucking Maduro were running the streets and just stacking money while the people were in hunger.
Charlatán sinvergüenza.
He's a shameless charlatan.
Que sigue, obviamente, traficando.
He's obviously also trafficking.
Polvo blanco.
He's trafficking the white powder.
Caletas repletas con lingotes de oro que no se sabe.
Bars of gold.
¿En cuántos kilos? Miles de kilos.
Thousands of kilos.
Señores, de la mercancía blanca, de oro, de armamento.
they're finding the white merchandise. This is money from the white merchandise. They're finding gold. They don't know how many
No
armaments.
se sabe cuántas. Hay 6 edificios juntos de este caballero, señores.
There are 6 buildings that belong to this gentleman. And they don't mean gentleman. His name caballero means gentleman, but it's also a last name. All right. It's like, oh my God. Imagine gentleman was a last name. Well, that's what caballero means.
Que están cada uno con...
You see that? What does this remind you? What does this remind you of? We saw this in Iraq. Remember when Iraq was stealing, the IRGC aligned Iraqi politicians were stealing money from the Iraqis and they were hiding it in the walls and giving it to IRGC proxies? They do the same thing everywhere. They do the same thing everywhere.
Una caleta diferente, una de dólares, una de mercancía, de la sustancia blanca.
They're finding drugs, like kilos and kilos of drugs. Caleta seems to mean like a hidden compartment, is what I'm gathering from what he's saying, right? So there's caletas or hidden compartments full of gold, hidden compartments full of cash, hidden compartments full of the white powder. I don't know if he's talking, I'm guessing he's talking cocaine, but it could also be like some heroines, some fent. I gotta be honest with you guys. I never done the fent. I never done the heroin. I know that sometimes it can be a little brown when it comes to the heroin, but I think we know what he's talking about.
Otra del vegetal que ustedes.
Oh, he's got some of the green. He calls it the vegetable. But I think we would call it the herbs.
Saben de qué le estoy hablando.
Oh, he's just
Otra de
giving stacks.
armamento y otra de oro.
Another one full of gold. Let me go back a little bit.
Ustedes saben de qué le estoy hablando. Otra de armamento
Another one of guns.
y otra de oro. Esas caletas que están ahí son de las que se encuentran en la selva, en el monte allá. Esas que yo le estoy mostrando aquí. Esta fue la que se difundieron primero y él al darse cuenta de que empezaron a llegarle a esas caletas.
These caletas, or these, I would call them stockpiles, is what I would call. I think he means by caleta, he means like a stockpile. Like these stockpiles were first being found in the jungle, and when he noticed that they were being found,
mandó a militarizar de
he demanded that the area be militarized.
manera urgente y empezó a sacar cargamentos de la sustancia.
And this is him covering it up in black bags so you can't see what's in there and trying to get it out of the area.
Prohibida, que no vamos a mencionar, del polvo blanco, ustedes saben, del vegetal, y a sacar también armamento.
And he mobilized the militaries to start pulling out the money, the armament, the herbs, and the powder.
Y es lo que quiere asegurarse de sacar esa mercancía para que no sea, supuestamente para que no sea descubierto.
He doesn't want it discovered.
Por las autoridades estadounidenses que andan detrás de los.
This guy already has a $25 million bounty. Like, imagine you have a $25 million bounty on your head, and you're sitting on $25 million. It's like, I could just turn this guy in, keep this money, and I got $50 million. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he's going to trust these people.
Pasos de él para, ustedes saben, someterlo a la acción de la justicia. Pero este no se va a escapar.
He's saying, this guy is not going to escape. Like right now, the people are mad. They're so mad. The people are furious.
Miran cómo conseguimos los videos, y estos son los videos que él no quiere que se difundan.
These are the videos that he doesn't want to fuse.
En las redes sociales. Así que todo el mundo, señores, a compartir. Ahí les voy a estar subiendo las informaciones de los desaparecidos.
And yeah, it looks like special forces are going back. Oh yeah, I got a video on that too.
Influencers que denunciaron esto y empezaron a publicar estas informaciones.
There's a lot of influencers that saw this and started publishing the information, and they started disappearing.
Con nombres y apellidos y lugares donde viven que tienen.
And he has the names, the last names, and the places where they live, because he's trying to like make sure that they get rescued or that they don't get like just killed.
Días, amistades, familiares que no saben nada de ello luego de publicar estas informaciones.
that they published this, and it's been days since their families, their friends, and their neighbors haven't heard from them. Just because they showed these videos. But the video's already out, right? Like when you go to someone like this, you're going to check if there's more videos. You can't take you can't, like, if you ever find anything like this, just publish it all. Just publish it. Just make it public. Don't keep anything. Because they're talking, hey man, everything I had, I made it public. I ain't got nothing else. I ain't got nothing else. I made it public. Like, killing me now is just gonna make you look guilty. Because I don't have anything else. Or you think I'm gonna be a deterrent? I'm not gonna be a deterrent. What's gonna happen is if I die, everyone who has any videos is just gonna, release them now.
También tenemos nombres y apellidos de los diversos mandos que están bajo la orden que le dio Dios.
He's talking that he has the names of the people that are under him, the authorities. Los mando. A mando is like an authority.
Cabello para que no dejen pasar a nadie para
like the people that under his authority, that he gave orders to not let people pass.
Zonas donde se encuentran las caletas y están protegiendo toda la fortuna de Diosdado.
They're protecting his fortune.
Cabello, porque él sabe que su cabeza está a punto de caer y ya hay indicios claros. Hay indicios claros que es evidente. Hay mucha
There's a lot of clear indications and it's
evidencia para que actúe. No sé qué es lo que está esperando Marco Rubio.
Yo no sé qué está esperando Marco Rubio. He says, I don't know what Marco Rubio is waiting for. I'm like, look, hey, calm down. We're going to get to it.
¿Qué es lo que está esperando Donald Trump para?
He's saying, I don't know what Donald Trump is waiting for.
Que caiga todo el peso de la ley pueda
he should have the full weight of the law fall on him. Marco did speak on this, by the way.
Encontrarse con su socio allá en Estados Unidos, Nicolás Maduro, porque
they can't wait for this guy to go meet his partner over there, Nicolás Maduro, over there in New York. They can't wait to get him out of there.
Las caletas no solamente pertenecen a él, sino también a Nicolás Maduro y a Padrino López también.
He's saying this belongs to not only Nicolás Maduro. This is not only Nicolás Maduro's stolen wealth and, ill-gotten gains, but also, let's look at the names. Diosdado Caballero.
Estas caletas no solamente pertenecen a él, sino también a Nicolás Maduro y a Padrino López.
Padrino López. I don't know who that is. I'm guessing it's another one of these narco state, enforcers.
También que tiene un par de caletas.
No, he spoke like he literally spoke on this. Like he literally spoke on this. He's literally keeping an eye on this. Like I don't think anyone else in the past has been able to.
Ahí, porque todos están asociados conjuntamente y quieren sacar ese dinero para Curazao, para Trinidad y
Curazao. I think that's in the Caribbean, right?
Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. That's also the Caribbean.
Y también querían mandar para Cuba, pero como
they wanted to send it to Cuba, but Cuba is kind of difficult now. Brother. Oh my God. Oh my God. All of it? I don't know how to tell you. Like, even people on the left would like, I mean, Marco kind of nice.
Cuba ya le puso el ojo Donald Trump.
You know how some people would use an excuse to like, you know what? I'm not a Republican, but I'm going to use Marco as an excuse to vote. You know what I'm talking about? He would get so much of the Latin vote just because he could talk to them in Spanish.
Quieren mandar para otras islas.
Another thing that's lost on people is that you don't understand that a lot of people who maybe they live in America, but they don't have, it's not the kids. The parents don't. They've done everything right, but they don't have a deep understanding of the politics, and they're hearing what Trump is saying through the filter of CNN Español, and that's about as biased or even worse than CNN in English, right? So you're getting a very biased interpretation. Univision isn't going to be fair to Trump or the Republicans, right? So whenever a U.S. president is speaking and is heard in Spanish, it's heard through a very biased filter. Like, imagine you spoke only Spanish, you spoke only German, or you spoke only French, and you had to hear what Trump says only through the French press, only through some the German press who's very biased, only through CNN Español and Telemundo. You're gonna think Trump is a demon, because those filters are never, those translators are never gonna give him a fair shot. They can't do that shit to Marco.
A esconder todo su tesoro por ahí y desaparecer toda la mercancía que tienen allí, porque saben que la calaca le cayó encima.
They know that La Calaca's falling on them. I don't know what La Calaca is, but I'm thinking something bad. La Calaca le cayó encima means the Calaca fell on them.
No sé qué está esperando el gobierno de los Estados Unidos,
He says, I don't know what the government of the United States is waiting
pero lo que
for.
nos vamos a esperar somos nosotros. Así que todo el que se
But the ones who aren't going to wait is us.
siente orgulloso de ser venezolano y quiere esa
Anyone that's proud of being Venezuelan and want this
escoria
scum,
afuera
out of the escoria means scum. This scum out of the nation.
de Venezuela, que empieza a compartir este
Start sharing this video
video por todos lados
everywhere,
y para que le caiga todo el peso de la ley
so that all the weight of the law falls on them.
y venga el FBI
And he wants the FBI to show up,
y se lleve y aprecie a este delincuente
that they can arrest and take away this delinquent,
indolente,
indolent. But I don't know what that means. I think it's a word in English too. I like dolent means pain. In pain, a pain causer. Look, okay, look. I mean, some Latino nations have a more developed language than others, okay? Venezuela's pretty advanced in the language area, okay? I'm just a monkey. Bear with me.
empieza a compartir este video por todos lados y para que le caiga todo el peso de la ley y venga el FBI y se lleve y aprecie a este delincuente indolente que se está lucrando.
He is lucrando means getting lucrative, self-lucrative. So he is benefiting. He is profiting off the people.
Con el dolor de los venezolanos, se está lucrando con el sentimiento.
Okay. I have a little bit of defense for me. I got a little bit defense of me. A-Log, no worries. I can't understand Australians. Yeah, Australians and the British, it's like you speak English in cursive.
Burlándose de toda una nación que creyó por tantos años
He's like basically making fun of a whole
en
nation.
él. Y para aquellos chavistas, para que se den cuenta,
This is for the Chavistas, because there's a lot of people that have like true faith belief in Chavez. And he's like open your
miren con
eyes.
sus propios ojos
See with your own eyes.
a los que ellos están defendiendo.
Okay, CIA may have some jurisdiction, but they more take care of terrorism when it's more militaristic, when you're talking about military. When they got Maduro, it was under the FBI. So I think because we're calling them not just a terrorist, we're calling them narco-terrorist, we also give the FBI a section of this. But I know what you mean. The CIA is supposed to handle matters outside of the United States, and the FBI is supposed to handle matters inside the United States. The reason that FBI gets jurisdiction is because the drugs are being sold in U.S. So that's the line, right? Also, the FBI gets to work internationally, maybe with the CIA, but actually go out internationally beyond the border if it's a clear and present danger inside the U.S. Like if there's a bomb about to blow up, they can go outside to find who's behind it or who has the clues on it, and probably working in conjunction with FBI. But I understand your point. You shouldn't trust the FBI either. You got to. There's a lot of people put from both sides have put people in there, so you never know at what level there's some appointee that you can't trust.
No queremos más a nada que huela a chavista en Venezuela, porque ellos
We don't want anything that smells like a Chavista or a Chavez.
son el mal, son el azar que tienen a Venezuela
These are the evil that has
en la crisis, en la
that keeps Venezuela in crisis,
situación que está.
in the situation that
Y
is.
Dios está haciendo todo lo que tiene que hacer, ya está permitiendo todo para que estas personas son el azar que tienen a Venezuela en la crisis, en la situación que está. Y Dios está
So God is
haciendo
permitting
todo lo que tiene
everything
que hacer, ya está
is permitting that everything that needs to be done can be done.
permitiendo todo para que estas personas paguen.
Like he's permitting us, basically he's saying God is allowing us to see, he's allowing people to get the information out that was impossible to get out before. I don't think he's meaning that God caused the earthquake, right? The problem with the earthquake was bad construction, because of these people. But he's saying like God is allowing us to show this information, to share this information, to see this information. This would have been possible before the earthquake. The earthquake makes the police be so busy that they can't go around hiding stuff. And the earthquake makes it so you can find these things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to even look for.
Con creces. Miren ahí las evidencias, son las caletas y faltan más.
He's saying that there's more to go. These are just the stockpiles, right? There is more. He's basically saying this is the tip of the iceberg.
Porque estoy esperando que me envíen video por video, así que denle like, suscríbase
So give me a like and subscribe.
para que esté atento, active la campanita de notificaciones
Like get the notification bell.
para cada video que yo vaya a subir. ¿Entiende? Así que dele ahora mismo para el canal, o sea, dele ahora mismo, mira, ahí debajo, ahí. Dele a suscribirse, dele like.
I don't know who that guy is. I know
Miren
this guy
aquí por
shared
qué
him.
razón mandó a...
All right, here's another video. Look at this. Look at this. He says, I'm a journalist. What's your name? Melissa Paez.
16-115-02.
She's giving her ID. You see how the people are yelling at them? Sin vergüenza. That means you're shameless. Shame. You should feel shame. He's telling people, get out. There's no more bodies here. Get out. You see how they're hanging onto their guns? Like if there was a Second Amendment, these people would. They couldn't do this in Texas, could they, Texas troop? Could they do this if there was a natural disaster and there's piles of money being hidden by some crooked Democrats? And they have these cops here basically hiding the money and trying to take away the cameras. Could they pull this off in Texas? Tell me, Texas troop, what do you think? Could they get away with this shit in Texas? I'm almost 100% thinking they couldn't. Shit, they couldn't get rid of it. They couldn't do this in Puerto Rico. Oh, we have the answer here. Hell no. The people are just insult after insult after insult after insult. Oh, Armin was juggling. Do you know what juggling means? Like when I say juggling and that streaming is a form of juggling, it means that I have to watch the live stream. I have to pay attention to people that are calling. I have to pay attention to, like, if it seemed that he wasn't giving me attention, or he made me repeat it. It's because he's doing a lot of stuff. Can you guys hear me? Hello? I'm muted. I shouldn't be. Wait, hold on. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Oh, you hear me? Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, what's the last thing you heard me say? Oh my God. Okay. Look, basically, I'm addressing what Bridget is saying over here. Like, you know what? He maybe has told me to repeat myself, and he has done this to Ali, to other people, and it's because he's doing 20 things, right? So he'll sometimes say, "Hey, you know what? Can you run that by me one more time?" And it's because he's getting so important. Maybe Pahlavi, maybe the prince is calling him. We don't know. So on these things, we gotta give him a break and say, "Hey, man, go talk to the prince." Go talk to Goldie or Tusi. You know, they have this little network of influential Iranians that they're for the cause, and they get news from each other. Maybe he's talking to Ali or he's talking to Guy. So we have all these great people that are contributing to the cause. So and they have to coordinate because the next segment he was doing was with Ali. And I got a segment after that. So sometimes there's things going on in the background, and he has to take this message and kind of reply to it in a timely manner. So you got to give him a break. Like so I'll repeat myself. I'm like, oh my God, you must be super busy. Let me try to condense this and say it again. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but if someone needs the repetition, I will give it. Absolutely. So I just want you to be patient with him, because I'm sure he was doing his best, but he's just juggling. Like streaming is juggling. You got to have so many balls in the air. I mean, Goldie does a lot of great interviews. Like, we can't hog her. You got to understand, Goldie is going out there on CNN, going out on a lot of places that, as the small group that we are, even within her chat, and she has a much bigger audience than we have. Like, even her audience has to understand that she may reach 1,000, 2,000 on her live stream, but if she has to coordinate a visit to Fox, that's tens of thousands. That goes national. So if she gets a little busy on the side, you gotta like look at the big picture. It's gonna happen to Armin, and you know what? If I get big enough, it's gonna happen to me. You're not gonna see my monkey face look to the side and be distracted, right? But it may happen to me. It may happen to Ollie. He's very well. He's handsome. Like, I'm not gay, but he's handsome, right? He's young, right? So he's very camera friendly. So you may see him start go on other shows, get really famous, and Armin, and if this thing grows, you gotta like be understanding of this stuff. So like, just be patient. Armin is a great guy. You guys would not believe the amount of support that Armin gives me behind the scenes. I wouldn't even consider this. I wouldn't. I don't think I have any talent. The only reason I think it's worth you guys listening to me, it's because Armin insists that it is so. I'm here because of Armin, not because of me. Because he believes in me so much that he made me believe in myself. This is just what happened. Hey, facts are facts, right? Like, I mean, I can understand it. Like, if women do this too, women can recognize a fine woman. They don't gotta be into tongue wrestling the jelly bean to say, "Hey, that's a beautiful woman." You understand what I'm saying? I don't gotta, I don't gotta taste the eggplant to know, hey, that's a handsome man. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I might have worded that gross, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so these people are very brave because they're standing in front of armed cops and saying, "You're disgusting, you're gross, you're like," these people are very much insulting these policemen and telling them that you're shameless. They're really, yes, they are. Yes, Iranians are very, very attractive people. Yes, I am Latino, but I'm also a monkey. You got to remember that. Well, Texas, he's also young. Like, a lot of women like a little maturity in a man. Like, they like, men are like wine, Well, you get finer with time. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? What's the real deal? Okay. This writing over here says, "Me siento orgulloso de mis hermanos." He said, I'm feeling proud of my brothers.
115-012.
She's saying I'm a journalist. They probably want to take her camera away, but she's saying I'm a journalist, and she's giving her ID number
Vergüenza.
or press number is probably it.
Vergüenza, de verdad. Ya te puedes ir, que no queremos cuerpo, no queremos que busquen nada afuera.
Some of them are telling people, guys can go now. There's no bodies here. I don't know who's telling who that, but it can apply to both of them. You know what I mean?
Y si la unidad busca
Okay, see, I was right on my guess. Hey, but you know what? Some of these young affiliates, right? You got to get them hooked on the truth. And if you can use Ollie to hook the young ladies on the truth, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta bait that hook. You know what I'm saying?
reales a tu jefe, peor, porque tu jefe no te va a ayudar, huevón.
Oh, huevón. They're really laying into him there, and
Melissa Paz, periodista.
you're catching. Okay, they're just really trolling hard in the comments. But I want to show you something else. U.S. took physical control of the airport. Why did we do that? Why did we have to take physical control of the Air Force? Right? These are some of the people that they had to turn in their guns and badges, not because they protected the drug money, because they kept some of it. This is the guy that was like taking bags full of money and just keeping them on the side for himself. They made him quit. But I think they made him quit
Suéltala.
because he was keeping the drug money, not because he was stealing from the people. You understand what I'm saying? This is a speech from Javier Milei. Javier Milei is he's from Argentina. He's famous for using a chainsaw and telling everyone that he's gonna cut the communist and the socialist scum out of the budget, and they're all getting fired. And he just came like out, afuera, afuera, out, and run the chainsaw. That's Javier Milei, and he's having a speech here where he really wants to welcome the Israeli. He's got the Wailing Wall there, and he is very pro-Israel and anti-Hamas.
Foundation just raised things.
Like this is the president himself. He's not sending somebody else. He's coming out there to support it himself.
Buenas noches a todos. Quiero agradecer al señor presidente de Israel Allies Foundation, Josh Reinstein, al señor director para América Latina.
He's thanking everybody.
Presidente del Comité de Selección de Genesis Prize Foundation.
I just wanted you guys to see that he's doing it personally, and he is hosting. He's hosting these Israeli foundations and showing their support. All right. This is allegedly. I can't confirm. Hamas terrorist Mohammed Fathi may have been killed. This may be the strike. Oh my God, they might have hit him individually. Okay, here is another thing I was going to show you. Look at this. Okay, I don't want to play that soundtrack too much because that sounds like Pink Panther and that's probably copyrighted. Recatita Salvadoreño, Salvadoran, El Salvador. This is Bukele's people. Discover in La Guaira. This is the places that were rebuilt by the Chinese companies and directly to do with Chavez and Maduro. A cave with bars of gold while they were looking for the cadavers. They had connected the hidden gold in the caves. All right, I'm not going to play that anymore because I think that's copyrighted. Oh, if it isn't Chavez, I guess we found your gold, buddy. Look at this. Look at how proud he is of his gold bar. These are pictures. Look at this. Brother, sister, brother. Give me cricket. That's right. Holy shit. Here's a video.
mungira inama ibi bintu byandenze namwe nk'uko mubibona dore ndinze banyarwandakazi mungira inama ibi bintu byandenze namwe nk'uko mubibona dore ndimo ngenda ngiye kwiziturira ihene ntago ndababwira akarere kubera yuko murabona ibi bintu ntago wabitangira.
I don't know if this one is real. I don't know if this is real. Like, I've heard rumors about this gold. Like, the gold thing is definitely real. Like, the money thing is definitely real. I don't know about this gold. Or they could have like made this video from the image to exaggerate. But these are the rumors that are going. I can't confirm that one.
Only the Republican side that cares about our American. And I understand.
Look at what this white woman is saying. Look at what the white woman is saying. Listen to the white woman.
That you're here for a reason. I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that
Oh, you haven't been paying attention.
cares about our American children. I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children.
You don't understand because you haven't been paying attention. And to some of these women, especially women, I'm not talking about the ones here. You're the good ones. But you know, women will defend on women until you ask them, what about women? And then they go, oh my God, women are the worst. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I mean? It's at the max. I think it's just a low volume recording. But
I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children. And I know that you're a mother. I know that you're a father. I deeply value that. But basically what you just did, what you said was, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have a daughter too. I have a son. I feel your pain. You don't. You don't feel my pain. Because the next words out of your mouth were, but.
she's saying, okay, I don't know how it's the only Republicans that care about children. Like, I don't understand. Like, she doesn't understand. She hasn't been paying attention. Yes, the Democrats don't give a damn about children. They never did. But you know, they were behind eugenics. They were behind like forced sterilization. Of course, they don't give a damn. They're still behind Planned Parenthood. They're still for mass abortions. They don't care about children. They're for sterilizing and giving hormones to children that they don't know if they want to be a transformer yet, and you want to make them a trans person. Okay, you know, I got nothing against gay people. None of us do, but don't mess with fucking kids. You know what? If I had to pick one, I guess Blair White. I don't know. I mean, there are some of them that you say, God damn. but you know, it's not my thing. I don't like PB, but I respect and know that there's a lot of gay people that are not into it. If we had more Blair Whites, most of the movement wouldn't get the kind of vitriol that they're getting. Like, there needs to be more people like that call out things that are being done to children, because these Democrats are enacting their policy in their name, and people like her that say not in my name. Andy, no, I believe he is also within that community, and he says not in my name and fuck Antifa. Right? We need more examples like that. That's the kind of people you want out there, because these people claim they care about children, but you know, they don't. So she says, you don't feel my pain because the next words out of your mouth were but. Oh, I feel your pain, but. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. I don't know what this is about. Angel mom means that she lost her children's. When they say angel mom, I'm going to tell you what that means. That now we're getting more into direct American politics. Well, it also means Latin American politics, because there were also bad people out of Venezuela that left. They were known as Tren de Aragua. and there's other Latin American, criminal organizations and just criminals that came over that border. And angel mom usually tends to mean that this is a mother that lost her child, like an angel father or an angel mother. These are parents that lost their children to this type of violence. State Department announced that they are increasing the financial commitment to 300 million. Remember, this is like a tenth of a Leering Center, so this isn't a great economic loss to the U.S. Fortunately, we have the honor of being able to help people in need. This is the Trump accounts. If you have kids, open a Trump account. There's major operation against leftists in Colombia. I want you guys to hear this because I think he explains it beautifully. This is Marcus Rubius Floridicus Cubanicus, first of his name.
And I want to say this with as much respect as I can. There's nobody in the Senate that can lecture me on immigration. This is not a political issue. I've lived it my whole life. This is not immigration. 3.3 million people released into the country, 5,000 to 10,000 people a day illegally arriving in the country. That's not immigration. Immigration is a good thing. Mass migration is a bad thing. And that's what this is. This is a mass migration, and it's not good for anyone. It's not even good for the migrants, many of whom are raped and killed along the way.
Everything he just said is absolutely true.
It's good for the traffickers. It's good for the enemies of this country, but it's not good for the migrants. This is mass migration. And it reminds me, people say, well, if you're against this and you want to be strict about immigration, that's anti-immigrant, which is silly. At least they say it to me. But I remember, I'm not anti-rain. I think rain is a good thing. We need rain, right? I'm anti-flood. I'm not against the rain. I'm against flooding.
I love that analogy. Did you hear that? Let's run that by one more time.
I'm not anti-rain. I think rain is a good thing. We need rain, right? I'm anti-flood. I'm not against the rain. I'm against flooding, which is silly. At least they say it to me. But I remember, I'm not anti-rain. I think rain is a good thing. We need rain, right? I'm anti-flood. I'm not against the rain. I'm against flooding. Does being against flooding make you anti-rain? No. And being against mass migration does not make you anti-immigration, because mass migration is not immigration.
That was based. That was so based. Rain makes corn, yes, and that's good. Yes, corn is good. I appreciate that. This is why I think he will be the one. I think he will be the one. Okay, this is kind of like a rough video to watch. Okay, we're gonna watch this. This is a rough video to watch. This is allegedly, right? I can't confirm any of this, but I believe it's possible and happens, especially in disaster areas. See this guy? You see that what he's holding in his hand? You see here? Look at this guy. Follow this guy. Look. Look at this guy. Look at his hand. That's the doctor. He's saying, don't take her.
Hágase a un lado, ahorita ya. Vamos a hablar a la policía.
He said, look, let's go to the cops. Let's go to the cops. They're trying to get the license plate here. This person just stole a little girl. Okay, that's the allegation. I can't 100% prove that this is what happened. Se robaron una niña de una clínica. La doctora corrió detrás de la secuestradora. They stole a little girl from the clinic. The doctor ran after the kidnapper. All right, that's oh, these things happen. Oh, you better believe this happens in places like Ukraine. This happens in places where there's an earthquake, where there's a hurricane. This happens. This happens a lot. All right. Correct. This is absolutely right. This happens where there's war. This happens all over the Middle East. These things happen. Okay, this is a Puerto Rican singer.
Que iba a Venezuela y nada, quiero decirle que estoy
So because of reggaeton is one of the most popular types of music in Latin America. I know it's been recently popularized like over the last 5 or 10 years since Daddy Yankee in I would say in the United States as well. But reggaeton is very, very popular in Latin America long before it was popular in the US. So this guy, right, Nicky Jam, is a person that has been famous for like 20 years. I know he looks young, but we look, I mean, Puerto Ricans tend to look younger when you look at them. When you look, have like, unless they're showing their gray hairs, you're not going to really know our age. I mean, their age. But this man has been around forever. And what he's doing is that he is making his private jet available to transport as much humanitarian aid as he can find. Like he's talking about food, water, and that type of thing. He's just stuffing it in his jet, sending his pilot over there, sending the pilot back. Let's fill the jet again, go again, back again, go again, back again. I wouldn't put it past them, and I think they'll probably do it. They'll have some concerts where they can take the profits and do the thing.
nada, quiero decirle que estoy poniendo mi granito de arena y voy a
He says, "Look, I'm gonna put my grain of sand in here, and I'm gonna make una
de muchas que quiero poner. Estoy prestando
is one of many grains of sand that I want to put in. I'm lending
mi avión
I'm lending my plane
para llevar suministro para Venezuela.
to take suministro means like supplies.
Estamos llevando lo más importante, medicamentos,
They're taking medicine, which we make a lot of medicine,
enlatado,
canned foods,
cositas para bebé, todo
baby clothes.
eso. Este es el primer viaje que estamos dando en el avión,
This is the first flight that we're taking in the plane.
pero vamos a seguir dando más
Okay, you don't know, but he's breaking up. Like he's it's getting to him. Like even thinking about the stuff, it's gonna hit you, right?
viajes, que viva Venezuela, que sea todo Venezuela, que más gente.
You see how he's opening his eyes real big? You know why people do that sometimes? When the feeling gets to you, you open your eyes big and you blink. And if you open your eyes big and you blink, the tears kind of like fade back and your eyes kind of dry out and the tears don't fall. He doesn't want to start crying. You know why he doesn't want to start crying? They told us that, like, I worked in FEMA, and he said, look, when someone is looking for help and coming to you for help, if you seem hopeless, you're destroying their hope. Because if you're supposed to help me and you're supposed to give me hope and you're there crying hopelessly, what hope do I have? So he knows that he can't, like, just break down, but he breaking.
Soltando a más artistas que lo sigan haciendo, muchos lo han hecho, muchísimo, pero que hagan muchísimos más.
Is I'm inviting other artists. I know that other artists have done a lot, but I invite them to do even more. And this is my first, like he had said, this is my first grain. I want to make many more grains of sand until like we build a mountain.
Y nada, que viva Venezuela y vamos a salir de esta con el favor de Dios.
We will be out of this with God's favor.
Estamos activos, mi gente. Venezuela en la casa.
See, we are active. Venezuela's in the house, which means like you're welcome in the house. Like when the house, like we're here. I thought this was touching. And this is like when you got to understand that this is an American artist, it's a Puerto Rican artist, but this is federal territory, right? Like a lot of these guys consider themselves American. They may not have their thoughts about this administration or the past. They may differ with some of you guys. They may hate this one or hate the last one, whatever. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're willing to help each other when it counts. I thought this was something that a lot of people might find very interesting. Okay. Okay. So Israel didn't take dogs, but the technology, AI that recognizes building plans that have been unattended, sensors to detect human heat, voices, and movement. This is the drone. There's like a drone here in the air. You see it? You see it right there? You You see that right there? This is the Israelis. Like the Israelis got some advanced tech. If you try to build a computer without Israeli parts, you're not gonna be able to do it. Not a good one. Not a gaming computer. So I thought that was interesting. I thought you guys might want to see that. This is the guy. This is the guy that was stopping the rescue of people on the rubble because he was afraid they were going to find his cash. All right. So I think that's about it. Jesus Christ, what an ugly dog. I hope they help this dog. You know what? Look at the eyes. The eyes are beautiful. Oh my God. Oh, look at them. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look. Look when they found. Oh my God. That's how they found her. Así me encontraron. That's how they found me. Look at me now. Look at me now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So beautiful. Good dog. Okay, so this is another thing that the Israelis are doing.
Los que
Let me see. I'm not sure if this is the Israelis. I know this is an account that this is like an Israeli a person that represents maybe Israel and Venezuela or Latin America.
Venezuela pidió ayuda y el que sabía hacer arepas hizo. Los que vendían colchones los donaron.
There's people that donated food. That was arepas was a type of food. This is food. All right.
Y el que sabía hacer arepas hizo. Los que vendían colchones los donaron.
These people donated their mattresses to people that had to like basically sleep in the street or sleep wherever they could. To people that lost their homes on the rubble. You remember that we showed at the beginning of the show? People that were kind of like sleeping out in the stars in front of where they used to live. Well, these people were giving out mattresses.
Los que sabían hacer cachitos los hicieron.
People who knew how to make some food made
Los
some
que
food.
tenían un negocio con comida la donaron.
Everyone who had some business with food gave it.
Los que sabían soldar hicieron literas. Los que
Okay, so these people that they knew how, all they knew how to do was like, all I can do is weld. I'm gonna weld you some bunk beds.
hicieron literas. Los que tenían
You see how they're making bunk beds? It's like all I can do is weld. I'm gonna weld you some bunk beds because you know what? That will work.
peluche hicieron mantas para niños.
The ones that know how to make teddy bears or like they know how to make stuffed animals made them for the children.
Los que vendían café lo regalaron.
Those who sold coffee were giving it away. I mean, rescue workers need coffee.
Los que tenían un show entretuvieron.
Those who knew how to entertain, entertained.
Los que sabían tejer hicieron almohadas de
Everyone who knew how to make some sew. Those who knew how to sew made blankets. These are like baby blankets.
alivio. Los que sabían leer fueron a leer cuentos
The ones who just knew how to read, they went to read stories to the
a
children.
los niños. Los que tenían
You see how everybody is in they have to live like they're camping now. So, these people are like, well, you know what? We're going to go read to these children.
Los que tenían apego por algunas pertenencias las donaron.
People who were like really hoarding a lot of their clothes started donating it.
El que solo tenía una bicicleta llegó para donar. Los que tenían motos,
Some people that only had a bicycle came in their bicycle and donated from their homes.
carros, camiones,
They were
se pusieron a
cars,
la orden.
motorcycles,
Y los
the cars, motorcycles, trucks, everybody came.
que tenían manos salieron al rescate sin importar que
And those who only had their hands volunteered their hands to go, pull people out of the rubble.
cayera la noche o lluvia en el camino. El que sabe
These are people that went night and day through the heat and rain in the back of pickup trucks. Like they were basically like illegal immigrations, but they were like, immigrating to a disaster zone so they could help people.
en el camino. El que sabe meditar invocó a todos para unirse en una misma energía. Los que saben coser hicieron ropa interior
Those who can sew made
y pijamas.
clothes,
Los
made pajamas for the kids.
influencers pusieron sus plataformas para informar. Los que
The influencers gave their platforms so that they can better inform the public.
tenían máquinas de impresión en 3D
Those who had 3D printers.
hicieron férulas. Los terapeutas
Do you know what this is? This is like a brace that you can use, so you tie this so you could protect the arm if you've broken your arm.
férulas. Los terapeutas especialistas en trauma se voluntariaron para
Everybody that specialized in trauma volunteered their help.
atender casos.
Yes, that's a great talent. Like, you know, if you're a maker, that's a good thing.
En el extranjero, la policía lleva donaciones. Los que están
This is the sheriff's office. There's a lot of people, especially in Miami, that the Dade County was, giving donations.
lejos siguen colectando toneladas de ayuda.
Tons of help is being collected all over the
Los que
world.
tienen aviones los llenan
Whoever has a plane is
con
filling it.
ayuda. Los que saben rescatar llegan con equipo.
Those who know how to rescue arrive with help.
Venezuela, no dudes de tu fuerza y el amor que te tenemos,
It's like, don't doubt your strength and the love that we have for you.
porque estamos unidos y te invito que si solo tienes un abrazo
Because we're united, and I invite you, if all you have to give us a hug,
para dar, hazlo,
give it.
que muchos lo están necesitando.
Sometimes I feel a little useless because this is all I can do, but you do what you can. That's the whole point of that video. Do what you can. So that's what we do. After 12 hours, people were able to rescue. Wait a minute, not 12 hours, 122 hours. Okay, I read that wrong. A 12-year-old boy was rescued here. Yeah, so this young lad, they got him out of there. That makes me happy. So yeah. Okay, so when people talk about slavery and like, oh my God, with the children of slaves and this white supremacy, this is what's going on in Africa. These are Christian children sold in sacks. Why don't they care about Islam enslaving Christians? Why does no one care? In Africa, black Christian kids as young as 4 years old are being sold inside bags as slaves by Muslim slave traders. Like this is one of the reasons that the Navy was reconstituted after the War for Independence. Media, progressive Palestinian protesters, the UN, and even the Pope remain silent. Yeah, that's a shame. And you know what? I think right there, we're going back into some stuff we covered yesterday. Yeah, we're going back into the great work of Nick Shirley and the disgusting things that California is doing against him. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's 10:15. I'm going to take 15 minutes to hear from you. I'm going to close this out in 15 minutes. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you want to talk about. If you learned anything, did I do a good job? Give me any feedback. Am I doing good here? I want to know what you think. I want to know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're feeling. This is horrible. Okay, one of the Venezuelan soccer players lost his wife and children in this. I mean, you know what? I hope there was no suffering that goes straight to heaven. But I mean, it is what it is. Doing a great job. Okay, I'm getting positive feedbacks. I'm getting my flowers. I'm getting my bananas. Been a good monkey. Oh, there we go. I'm getting my bananas. Looks like I did a good job. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really hope I am doing a good job. I tried to like start off with some solid because I knew this was going to be rough at the end, and I don't want to break people's hearts from the start. So I wanted to start off with some good solid facts, and put something about what are the corporations that are out here creating these terrible buildings, and oh yeah, now you're just stating facts. I really appreciate you. But yeah, I wanted to start by laying out the groundwork on why these things happen, how this is connected to the Chicoms, the Russians, Turkey, and Iran. Because what you saw in that video was directly linking these companies and these contractors and how they're directly linked to Iran, to China, to Russia, to Turkey. They put it out there. They put the companies. They put the ties. So I wanted to start there. Got want a solid fact based, a cold look. Then I went into the corruption. Now that gets you into the rage. That gets you into the anger of how the people's livelihood is being stolen. Then we went into U.S. participation and what the U.S. is having to do to secure what's going on. You know what I didn't get into here? I may show this. Oh my god, I don't see it here. Oh, I think I went over this yesterday. They stopped. The one of the reasons they took over the airport is because they wanted to stop a politician that won the last election from coming in. And you guys are being very generous with your bananas. I love the praise. Great, you're doing great. Watching the chat, that's a huge plus. Info you brought tonight as well, worth the time. You know what? That's what I want. I want to be worth your time. Even if you're just listening to me and doing your stuff in the house, you know what? I appreciate it. And I'm hoping I'm bringing an angle. I don't know if you guys have seen this on other channels. Like I'm sure you saw the stuff from China Observer on China Observer, but if you haven't, please go subscribe to them. So what a great the team they have over there. Yes, I live in Puerto Rico. I in in the ancient times of the before four, I used to be a mechanic. I used to be a mechanic where I fix these tanks back here, paladins and other types of tanks. I was a tank mechanic, right? That's why I'm a grease monkey. Grease monkey, it's not a derogatory term. I'm taking a little bit literal, but grease monkey means mechanic to Americans. Not all Americans, but most Americans, you say grease monkey, they think mechanic. Yeah, I got like 1 gig up, 1 gig down fiber. Like my GPU has 24 gigabytes of VRAM. I'm running an i9 on 64 gigs of very, very fast memory. Like this PC is so good, it runs Star Citizen. You know what it takes to run Star Citizen? It's basically impossible. I was thinking of doing some gaming stream sometime. I did make a Twitch channel for this. Like I may do a little gaming. You may watch me play some Star Citizen, maybe some other game. Oh my god! So you've seen us chimp out with a wrench, especially when there's always one nut that doesn't want to crack. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for mechanics. That's one of the trades that it's like mechanics, plumbers, electricians, and carpenters. You think the future is going to get rid of them, but nope. AI is going to get rid of a lot of the people that said learn to code are now getting fired and replaced by AI. But you're not replacing your mechanics. You're not replacing your plumbers. You're not replacing your electricians and your carpenter. Those people are needed. Oh my God, my pastor was a helicopter grease monkey for the cops. And They gave me the option to go for be a mechanic for helicopters or tanks. I chose wrong. I chose tanks. I thought they were harder, and helicopters fall. But if I would have been a helicopter mechanic, I would have probably gone a very different route in life. It could have been better. You know what? Don't curse your luck. Maybe I would have fallen off of one. I am a clumsy monkey at times. From Roach King to Grease Monkey. From Roach King to Grease King. What do you mean, like from Asmongold? I was never as good as Asmongold. Oh my fucking god! I fucking wish I was as good as Asmongold as this shit. If I was ever, if I could wish God for anything, is to be as good as Asmongold at this shit. Oh, look at this! Oh my god, there's a lot of us out there, you know. But let's make a prayer. Lord in heaven, Jesus Christ, I want you to bless all the grease monkeys and your family. You know, the grease monkeys, you know, you want to keep the gears greased. You want to keep those lug nuts tight, and you want to make sure their families have are blessed in well, health, wealth. I want you to bless their loved ones, their king, their plans, their homes, everyone they love, and everything they touch. I think that covers everything. Amen. Oh my God, he's like all over the family. You're like all over the grease monkey. All right, that's good. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, I know, Texas. You ain't gotta rub it in. I know. Oh, Papua New Guinea. You know, Papa bless. That was a rough war. But you know, some of those vehicles back then still good. Oh, working on your own car is great. You know, in Fort Buchanan, we have a motor pool where you know I could just take my car and work on my car there. Like it doesn't matter if it's like German or whatever. They just let me take care of it there. I take the parts and I change the parts there. They got some people that help you out if it's a little bit different of what you're used to. But the motor pools that they got on base for civilians are pretty good as long as you got the right ID. They let you use it. And I wouldn't say for full civilians, but like if you had people that are military or ex-military, you can use that motor pool, and it's a great resource. Save a lot of money. Amen. I'm getting some amens in the chat. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Pass the ketchup. Well, we say pass the ammunition, but we're not gonna be shooty here. Oh man, the best way to thank me for my service, live free. Live free and know your rights. That's the best thing you could do for me right now and right here and forever. You know, live free, know your rights, and you know, love your people. I'm gonna close it in about a minute. Just want to say goodbye to everyone. Want to thank you for being here. You hear that? I'm starting to get that southern drawl again. Like I'm serving down in the south like I used to. You see how that accent just kind of creeps in? Hallelujah. Start feeling the presence of the Lord here among us. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, but not the military mortar pool. You'll usually find well over here it's by the bowling alley. But there's a civilian motor pool that can be used on many bases. You just gotta like you know, if you're near a base and you have a family in the and, like I could take my brother's car and go with them and fix it, and I just I'm fixing this car here, whatever. They don't care. I think there's a fee, but the fee is like you're paying per hour to borrow the tools or for the lift. Like it's peanuts compared to like having someone do the repair for you. Oh, because they can't trace those. They say it's about emissions bullshit. It's because before that year, it's harder to trace them. I think they're signing some laws because I know some laws were signed for farming equipment. Europe is doing some laws about licensing games. And I think Trump signed some laws about farming equipment, and this could extend to cars that at a federal level, you can't prohibit people from fixing their own cars. I think this was very recent in the news. I'm not 100% sure. I may bring it back tomorrow. We might go into some American law. I have to prepare the show for tomorrow. I'm still kind of new to this. I got to get in the habit of like preparing topics, and I'm still a little bad at this. I hope you enjoyed the topics. Well, maybe not enjoyed, but you feel like you were informed by the topics we had today. And yeah. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you, Roman Viking. Thank you. May your bananas be plenty and sweet. Thank you. Yeah, well, there's resources for veterans that sometimes we don't know about. So, it's good to like find out whatever you can. Like there's usually a motor pool that veterans can access that has nothing to do with the military motor pool, like a civilian motor pool. Okay. Well, with this, I'm going to close it out. Look at this. You see? Before 2006, that's probably it. I've seen people removing cellular tracking boxes from their new cars. Yeah, because they do trace you. Telling you, man. And the Californians, Califraudians, telling you, man. Politicians are shady. All right, guys. We'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for coming. Bless y'all. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your feedback. Leave comments. And I gotta go now, guys. Bye.